So, welcome to the 1-10-10 Strategy Workshop. And we're going to learn a strategy that will put your brand in front of thousands of clients every single week. And so, this is a method that I developed myself after lots of frustration dealing with Facebook and then wanting to do paper ads and then trying to boosted posts and paid ads and then not working. I finally gave up on that. So we're just going to try it my own way. And so I developed this strategy. And so we're going to be teaching that today. Start with December 30th, 2022. I received a call from a local shelter for abused women and children. And they had purchased a thrift store about 5 years prior to that. And it had not made a profit the entire time. They were making sales, but they weren't making enough to make a profit off the store and be any benefit to the shelter. They knew about my experience. I had helped my dad with his thrift store. My dad had been in the thrift store industry since I was 4 or 5 years old, so I grew up in the thrift store industry. So they knew about that, so they called and asked me to help them out. I looked over their systems, started out that January, looked over their systems. I made one change. The only change I made is I switched them to my 1-10-10 marketing strategy. I did that one change. At the end of January, they were 30% over the January of the year before. Come to February, they're about 25% over. And then March, another 32% over. And it went back and forth between 25 and 35% over each month from the month of the year before. All the way through to the end of the year, they ended the year with over $1 million in sales. And the previous year, they had maxed out at $700,000 and weren't able to make their get into black with that, but with $1 million, they were finally able to get into the black for the first time in 5 years they've been open. It was just that one change was changing to this strategy we're going to talk about. But who am I? Why should you listen to me? I'm just some random guy. Of course, some of you don't know me, but why should you listen to me? I have started or helped start 5 different businesses, plus 2 nonprofits and 1 church in the past 15 years. So I just kind of fell into it. I was a teacher at first, and I got out of teaching in order to pursue an advanced degree and teach on a higher level, and that was right at the housing crash, and so the market went south on us, and I ended up losing some money. But I had a friend start a business at the same time, and he said, why don't you come and help me start my business? And so I helped him start his, and then a few years later, my dad wanted to start his business, so I helped him start his. I started one of my own businesses as a side hustle at about that same time. Helped my wife start her editing business, and just several different businesses. I helped start 2 different nonprofits. I do a lot of pro-life work. So 2 different pro-life nonprofits asked me to come and help them start. And then we moved to a new church that was just getting started. So we helped the church with all the legal process of getting started as well. And I just kind of fell into it, and I love it. I love helping businesses go from nothing to successful and giving the owners the life that they want and that they desire. I started out with this strategy with my dad's business. So I helped him start his business in 2015. He has a thrift store over in the Centerpoint area. And if you know anything about this area, there are a lot of thrift stores. It seems like there's one on every corner in some parts of town. And where he started his store, it's an area known as Thrift Store Alley. And when he started, there were 5 thrift stores within a 2-mile stretch of road. So lots of competition. And we tried different types of advertising, and it didn't work. And so I've been on Facebook ever since 2004 when it started. And so I thought, let's really push the Facebook marketing with it. And Facebook, about that time, is when they started the groups. And so we started advertising in the groups on Facebook without having to pay Facebook for any of the boosted posts with paid ads. And for my dad's store, it ended up bringing $1,000 per day. We did A/B testing, weeks that we ran a post and weeks we didn't run a post. And it came out to about $1,000 a day difference for when we were running the post. And that ended up being about a $500,000 business, which he is now retiring from. So happy for him to be able to do that. And so I developed that strategy. I call it the 1-10-10 strategy. It's very simple. It's 1 post a week, at least 10 photos in the post, and you share it in at least 10 local groups. And you can do more than 10 on the 2 10s, but at least one post a week, at least 10 photos in the post, and at least 10 local groups. I've used it for another company here in town. This is one of my clients. I started them in just toward the end of January in 2024. And they were my client all through the year, still a client now. So a whole year worth of data from them. And then we compared it to their data from the year before. And so the year before, in 2023, they were seen by 4,220 people. That's how many people saw what they posted on Facebook. And so then the next year, this past year, 2024, they had 91,000 people that saw what they posted on Facebook. And so more than a 2,000% increase just following this strategy. And then of course that turned into dollars. I have not asked them, I guess I don't have enough vanity to go to them and ask how much money did you make off my services. But they have been very happy. They're very happy customers. I was talking to them just today. So why Facebook? Why should your business care about Facebook instead of like Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn? This is why. Facebook has 69% market share among adults in the US. So 69%, it's almost 3 out of every 4 adults in the US are on Facebook. The next closest is Instagram, which is also owned by Meta, but they're only at 37%. So you have half as many adults on Instagram as you do on Facebook. What that translates to locally, that's 600,000 people in the Birmingham metro area. And that's, I don't know that this far south it counts in the Birmingham metro. In the Birmingham metro area, there's 600,000 adults that are on Facebook. They are on Facebook an average of 8 times a day. They're opening up their phone and checking Facebook. So 8 times a day. By the way, the most common time of day, if you have employees, it's during the workday. That's the most common time for them to be on Facebook. So your employees are on Facebook while they're at work. The number one age bracket, so just say adults, but you might be thinking, well, that's just going to be the young kids. 82% of the adults on Facebook are between the ages of 25 and 55. So most of them are going to be your clients. And that's where they're going to be. They're going to be on Facebook looking for news, looking up pictures of kids and grandkids and talking about what they had for supper last night. So that's where they are. That's where you need to be. Put that in comparison. At the heyday of the newspaper industry, the estimate is that the newspaper was in 60 million homes across the U.S. Now, Facebook right now is in 180 million adults that access Facebook in the U.S. So you have 60 million homes. Now, let's just say with the newspaper, you have both a husband and wife in most homes, so you have 2 adults in the home. So that's 120 million people that the newspaper could reach all across the U.S. Well, Facebook knows they are actually reaching 180 million adults. So Facebook has 50% higher actual reach than the newspaper had as their potential reach. It made sense in the previous century to have an ad in the newspaper. If you were going to be in business, that's where you needed to be. You needed to have your business listed in the newspaper somewhere. Because it made sense back then, it definitely makes sense now to be on Facebook because they have a much higher readership than even the newspapers had at their heyday. But there's a problem. We get on Facebook, you think, okay, everyone's on Facebook, all these adults are on Facebook. All I got to do is put stuff up on my business page and they're going to see it. So you create a page, you make it look nice and pretty, you go through all the steps to get your business validated on Facebook and make sure that they're not going to block your post or anything, and you put stuff on it and no one sees it. And the reason for that is because Facebook restricts how many people see what you post to the industry average across all of Facebook is 6.4%. So 6.4%, and that's not just of people, that's 6.4% of your followers. So if you have 100 followers, Facebook's only going to show what you post to 6 or 7 of them. If you have 1,000 followers, they're going to show it to about 65 people. That's all they're going to see, even if you have 1,000 followers. You put something up, now if they go to your page, they'll see it. But if they're just scrolling through their phone, your content is not going to show up in their newsfeed on their phone, except a tiny percentage of it. And so there's a lot of consternation over that. Of course, Facebook wants you to solve this problem by paying them to run paid ads and to boost your post. That is a possible solution. The problem with that is that with a small business just getting started, you don't know what content is going to do well in a paid ad. And so you may waste a whole lot of money on something that gets you absolutely nothing because you just don't have the data in order to know what's going to do well in a paid ad. I tell my clients that paid advertising is like pouring gasoline on a fire. If you just pour gasoline on dry wood, or just on wood that's not burning, it's not going to do anything. You got to have the fire first, and then you can add some gasoline and it'll really explode. So I tell them, get several months worth of data from posts that are doing well organically and getting lots of good results organically, and then you know, hey, that's what I need to put some money behind, and it can really take off then. But paid ads is not really the best solution. The other solution that's common, if you were to go on YouTube right now and say, how do I get more views on Facebook? You're getting all kinds of advice from some of the big gurus in the marketing company or marketing community. These are some of them, some of their books. And some of these guys, they like Gary Vaynerchuk, he's world-renowned. You've got Alex Hormozi, world-renowned folks that everyone, they have millions and millions of followers, people listen to their advice. And what they generally advise is you just throw up as much content as you possibly can. Vaynerchuk, I think the number was, he said that you should have 40 pieces of content every single day. Well, that was Hormozi. Vaynerchuk was higher than that. Vaynerchuk said 70. So he said 70 pieces of content today. Hormozi says 40 pieces of content every single day. What the reason behind that, their strategy is Facebook's only going to show it to 6.4%. So if you put a whole bunch of stuff up there, then this content will be seen by 6.4%, that content will be seen by a different 6.4%, and this content will be seen by a different 6.4%. You'll have some overlap, but if you put up enough pieces, then eventually everyone that follows your page is going to see something. And that's the thinking, but y'all have time to put up 40 pieces of content today. I don't have that time. There's no way I can put up 40 pieces of content. Now, they do it, but they have whole teams behind them that generate all their social media content. I don't have a team to do that. And of course, Facebook, as I mentioned already, they want you to do paid ads. One of the downsides of paid ads is that in 2023, 150 million businesses use paid ads. That's a lot of competition. 93% of social media marketers rely on paid ads. So when you pay someone to do your social media, 93% of them are saying you need to do paid ads. And 64% of marketers say that they plan to use even more paid ads this year. And so that means the number of people that are paying for ads is increasing. Well, the paid ad is just one little thing that pops up in your newsfeed as you're scrolling through. You've got a lot of competition for people wanting that spot to show up on your client's newsfeed. And so there's a lot of competition. Paid ads are and initially, they were a very good investment. That potential of the investment is going down as the competition goes up. Same thing as Google, the paid ads on Google, it's a bidding process for them. And as you get more competition, then it becomes harder for you to win that competition and get your ads seen by people. So there's a downside to paid ads. It can work well if you do it well, but there is a risk there. So there's a better way. My way is the 1-10-10 strategy. And again, that's the one post a week, 10 photos per post, and shared in at least 10 local groups. So let's go through this real quick. The first one is the one post per week. Did you know that race cars change their oil after every hour of driving? How many of y'all change your oil after every hour of driving? Why not? You'll get a tiny little performance boost. I mean, even if you have like a Honda Civic or just a Chevy pickup, you'll get a tiny little performance boost. But it's not worth the investment. The amount of time, the amount of money to change the oil, it's not worth that investment. You're not going to get enough of a boost to do it. These guys that are telling businesses to put all these hundreds of posts of content on Facebook, they're running race cars. They're working for companies like Nike and Nabisco and Ford and Chevy. Those companies, they're A tiny little performance boost, what might get, say a 1% boost. For us, that's not going to be much. For them, a 1% boost could be $1 million. Right? That's worth it for them. It's not worth it for us because we're not going to get enough of a boost from it. Just like it's not worth it for me and my little Chevy Equinox to change the oil after every hour. Every 5,000 miles or so is more than enough for my car. So you don't want to do that. It's better to just put up your post once per week. The reason that I choose once per week is because most of the groups that allow you to share as a business in those groups, they have a limit of once per week. And so using this strategy fits within that limit. Now, you can always do more than that if you want to. My art gallery client, they enjoy posting stuff on Facebook and they also post on Instagram. They just enjoy it. And so they're just constantly taking pictures of the art that they're selling and posting it. And it doesn't hurt a thing for them to post more often, just like it doesn't hurt a thing for you to put more, change the oil more frequently in your car. But they're not really benefiting from it. It's just something they do for fun. Where the benefit comes from is from sharing those posts in the groups that we're going to talk about in just a second. All right, so now with the 10 photos. Why 10 photos? Why do I recommend that? You ever seen a peacock at the zoo? He's strutting around, spreads up all his feathers, and he gets a lot of attention. Everyone stops, they stare. The teenagers will even put down their cell phone and stare at the peacock for a minute, and then they pick the phone back up so they can get a selfie with the peacock in the background and send it to all their friends. But he gets a lot of attention because he's got this great big huge spread of feathers. But what if that peacock got lazy? And he said, you know what, today I'm not going to put up all these feathers. That's just too much work. I'm going to put up one feather. And so he puts up one feather that day, and then the next day he says, I put up this feather yesterday, I'll put up this other feather today. So he puts up another feather. He's not going to get any attention. People are just going to walk past, and they might point at him and laugh a little bit, but no one's really going to pay a whole lot of attention to a peacock. It just has one feather sticking out. He's not going to get any selfies. No one's going to talk about it to their friends. But if he puts up a full spread of feathers, he gets all the attention. He is the star of the show. The same thing is true with posting on Facebook. Most businesses, when they post on Facebook, it's going to be one picture. And it might be one video, it might be one link, but it's just one thing at a time. And instead of putting up one picture, if you put up a collection of photos, it hacks the algorithm a little bit, and people see, it shows the first 5 pictures. The 5th picture is shaded a little bit, and it has a plus symbol and a number for how many pictures are left. And so that creates a little mystery, and humans are psychologically programmed to want to solve mysteries. And so we see this little mystery here, what else is behind that picture? And we have the ability to solve that mystery by just tapping on the picture or clicking on it with a mouse. And so they do. As soon as they tap on that picture or click on that picture, that is an interaction. And the algorithm records the interactions. And posts that get more interactions get shown to more people. And so now people are interacting with this post in order to see the rest of the pictures, but not just to see the rest of the pictures. Now they have to interact, they have to touch their screen or click a mouse to go to the next picture, and then go to the next picture, and then go to the next picture. Every one of those is an interaction that's recorded by the algorithm, and it says this is a popular post. And the algorithm is after one thing and one thing only: keeping people's attention on Facebook. That is the only thing the algorithm cares about. Getting people that are scrolling through their phone, getting their attention, staying on Facebook. And interactions are how it measures attention. So if you get more interactions on your post, the algorithm says this is a post that is fulfilling my mission. I'm going to show this post to more people. And it will show it to more people. However, it will only show it to people that follow your page if all you do is just post the collection of photos. We'll look at that in just a second. Now, what if your business doesn't have a whole lot of photos? Most of y'all probably don't have to worry about that. Karen, maybe with the t-shirts, you might have a whole lot of photos to take with that. You can always do helpful tips. So I did this for one of my clients this week. This is a post of helpful tips. I had 10 helpful tips for why you should hire a professional moving company. So it's for a moving company. That's one of my clients. And you can see the first 5 tips, and then it has a plus however many are left. And so they tap that in order to read the rest of the tips. And you just make sure the best tips are up at the front. And It catches their attention, now they want to read the rest of it, and it has the same effect as if you have a collection of photos. So you can do it that way if you have a service-based business instead of a business that has something you can photograph. All right, so that's the one post per week. They put 10 photos in that post, and then the third step of the strategy is to share it in at least 10 local groups. Now let's imagine you've got a new product or a new service, and you're wanting to advertise it, and you have a choice. You can go out and get a billboard out here on I-65, or you can put up a little 8x10 sign in your office. Which one's going to get more attention? The billboard's going to get more attention because that one's out on I-65. You got lots of people that see it because that's out where all the people are. But your little sign in your office, the only people that will see that sign in your office are going to be the people that walk in the door of your office. It's the same thing with Facebook. If you put something on your page and it just stays on your page, the only people that see it are people that follow your page. But if you share it from your page into a group where there's thousands of people, now there's a potential for everyone in that group to see it. So you have thousands of potential eyeballs to see it. That doesn't actually work out when all of them see it because the algorithm has to decide which post in the group to show. But a lot more people see that than will see it in your page. What type of groups? It's going to be groups like what's happening. What's happening in Trussville, what's happening in Birmingham, what's happening in Pelham, what's happening in Homewood. You also have community groups. There's a Shelby County community group. There's an Alabaster neighbors group. You just type in the city name into the group search in Facebook, and it will come up with all these groups affiliated with that city. Now, I don't recommend the buy, sell, trade groups. They don't usually like for businesses to post in those, but anything other than the buy, sell, trade groups are usually fair game. Now, they have all the groups have rules, and so you have to check the rules before you join. Like I said, most of them have a rule that business can only post one day of the week. Most of those have the rule that businesses can only post on Mondays. Some of them say businesses can only post on Tuesday, and I've seen one really weird oddball that said businesses can only post on Saturday. But they all have some type of rules somewhere, so you want to find out what those rules are, make sure that you comply with them. But then you can share the post from your page into the groups, and now that's where the magic really starts to happen. So all these people in the groups that don't know that your business exists, they don't follow you on Facebook, now your stuff is showing up in their newsfeed, just like if you were paying for paid ads and paying to boost the post. And you can do it for free. It just takes some work. So that's the strategy. It's very simple. It's one post a week, 10 photos per post, and shared in at least 10 local groups. And this is my favorite slide in the entire presentation. This is a graph for a roofing company that is one of my clients. And y'all know, it's the Roofing Dudes, Philip. This was before, there were two companies that merged. This is the company that merged with the Roofing Dudes. So I started out with this other company, Supreme Roofing, and then they merged with the Roofing Dudes, and they kept me on with the Roofing Dudes. But when they hired me, they still had 2 months left on the contract with the other marketing company that they were with. And so I could see the data, and they could too, but I doubt they even looked. But I could see the data from their marketing results and my marketing results for posting content on Facebook. And they were doing the standard where you just throw up a piece of content every single day, and they were just putting up a whole lot of content. It was all just these single individual pictures, or even worse, if it was a link. Facebook algorithm hates links because it takes people away from Facebook. So you throw up the link and it doesn't get seen by anyone. And so their results are graphed out right here along the bottom. These little bitty tiny bars all across the bottom. That's what that other company was getting with their strategy. And then I came in and right off the bat, very first post, got seen by over 600 people. And then the next post was upwards around 1,000 people, and it kind of fluctuated based on the content of the post. And the highest at this point, those 2 months, was just over 2,800. They're now getting like 3,500, 4,000 views for every single post. When they merged with the Roofing Dudes, we expanded their market a little bit. But it works. It works really well. And I love showing people this graph. I keep it with me anytime I'm in a meeting and pull it out and show, hey, look what I did better than this other guy. But it works really well. And so that's basically it. So my name is Bill Fortner again. This is my contact information. Why would you be interested in hiring me though if I just told you all the information that you could do yourself? There's a couple of reasons that it might be good to hire me to do it. First of all, I've got the time. So I know, as you've seen, I've helped start 5 businesses. I know a business owner is busy. So it always helps to outsource something instead of having to do it yourself. So if you need to outsource the marketing, that's what I do. That's how I help businesses take something off their plate that they don't have to worry about. The other reason that you want to hire me is for my experience. I joined Facebook in 2004. That was back when it first got started. You had to be a college student to join, and you had to have a .edu email address. I was in college, but my school didn't give out email addresses here. When I was too newfangled, they didn't do that. And so I went and got myself a made up .edu email address just so I could join Facebook. And I started using it for business right away, promoting my writings and public speaking. And so I've been using Facebook for business for over 20 years now. So I've got 20 years of experience. I have seen every single change that Facebook has made. I've seen all the attempts they've made to force people to pay in order to play on Facebook as a business. And I've found out workarounds for all of them. So everything that they've come up with to say, businesses cannot post. They came up with a thing at one time where they said businesses cannot, your Facebook pages cannot share in the groups. And that's what my dad's business was thriving on. And so that was going to be a huge blow to us. But I'd been on Facebook so long, I knew exactly how to get around that restriction. And we just went right around, did an end run right around the restriction, and we just kept right on going. And eventually they changed that. And I guess too many other people figured out how to get around this. They figured, well, why are we bothering? But any type of thing that they bring up to block you, I've probably got experience with it, and so I can help you out with that. So those would be the 2 reasons to hire me. I've got a whole slate of services that I offer, from content management to teaching to giving these workshops at conferences and stuff like that. So if you're interested, I'd love to spend some time with you and talk to you about it. Anyone have any thoughts or questions?
Do any of the groups ever get upset with the number of pictures? Is 10 pictures okay for all the groups?
Yeah, they've never gotten upset with anything I've done for the amount of pictures. 10 is actually on the low side of what I do. I've got, like the art gallery, we usually get 30, 40 for them. I get 30 to 50 when I can for my dad's store. And the thing is, it only shows 5. And then you have that plus symbol. And so it doesn't clutter up their newsfeed to have, you can have 100, 200, however many you want. I'm sure there's an upper limit somewhere, but I haven't found it yet. Okay.
So when you post those pictures, does it change the algorithm or help your post be seen if you comment on each of those pictures? Like, for example, say I picked over a hotel, and I'm like, here's the lovely pool, and here's this type of room, and here, do I need to comment on every picture in order to help that algorithm?
Yeah, you don't need to in order to help the algorithm. I've tried both ways and I haven't seen any difference in the results. Now, one thing I have seen that works is in the text, the main body of text, not the comments on the picture, the main body of text. If you say, hey, there's a special giveaway in the last photo, and then people want to go all the way to the last photo so they can see their giveaway. And that really works because it encourages them to keep clicking through or swiping through those photos, which is more and more interactions.
Okay.
And then you just in the comment on the last photo, that's where you put it.
And does it help any, like if my business page tags my personal page?
Yeah, I haven't seen that help any either. Now, you want to run through your business page for the post. The reason for that is because with the business page, you have metrics that you can see how many people are seeing it. You can see things like what age group of people are interacting with your post, whether it's male or female. Like I had a real estate agent that I helped. She's in my BNI group, and looking at her post, the people that are mostly following her page are elderly people that are looking for houses. And so I told her, you really need to focus on that. That's the people that are following you. You need to capitalize on that and make more of your Facebook posts geared toward elderly homeowners. And so she started doing that and seeing a lot of results. from it. But you don't get that if you're sharing, if you're just posting your personal page. Now, I will say, one of the workarounds for something that comes up in Facebook is to share from your personal page. So you post it on your business page, and then your personal account goes to your business page, and your personal account shares into some of the groups. And the advantage of that is that some of the groups don't allow businesses to join, but they will let you join as an individual, and they'll let you share about a business as an individual, so you can get around the restriction.
Oh, so that explains why I've seen like some realtors do that. Like in what's happening in Vestavia, there'll be a realtor and she's sharing her realtor page.
Yep. Yeah, so it's just a little way to work around that particular. Now, the downside of that, if you get a little bit bigger business, like, for example, when I was working for this other thrift store, helping them with their marketing, I didn't want my picture affiliated with their business.
Yeah.
So I couldn't share from me personally sharing into the groups. Now with my dad's store, I actually started out because initially no pages were allowed to join the groups. It's only individuals. So I started out with me sharing in those groups for my dad's store. And even today, I'll go out and be in Walmart, and someone will come, hey, you're that guy from the thrift store, right? Because they associate my face as the face of the business. And so if you have an employee that's doing this for you, you don't want their face to be the face of the business. So there are some downsides to that, but it is a way to work around the system. That's a good question. Anyone else? Any other questions?
Does it help if I link my Instagram and Facebook business pages together?
I haven't seen any difference in that. I've got a couple of clients that do that, and I haven't seen it have any effect. It makes it easy to share from one to the other.
Yeah, because I have some people that follow you on Instagram and some that follow on Facebook
Right.
and some that follow both, but there's a handful that it's either this or that.
Right. Yep. So it's just something to make it easier for you. Once you post on one, you can share it on the other. Now, Instagram, I don't know how well you could do the share, for the collection of photos. I know Instagram has what they call them carousels, is that right? I don't know if you can do a photo collage on Facebook and immediately share it on Instagram and it show up as a carousel. I don't know that. So I don't do anything with Instagram myself. I had someone today to ask me to look at their Instagram page. I said, well, yeah, I don't do it when I look, and I don't even have the app on my phone, so.
Well, we have Instagram because our kids are on Instagram, so that's where we find out all the fun stuff.
Yeah, that's why my wife has. All right, any other questions or thoughts? No one's asked the question that I've gotten asked in every single one of these. I'm surprised. Everyone asks, what about video? Does video work well? Video, I'll give you the answers, even though you didn't ask. Video is not the best to use on Facebook. If you go and get advice on YouTube about how to get more people viewing your content on Facebook, they'll all say video works really well. Video works really well compared to single photo posts. It just blows them out of the water. But it does not work very well compared to collections of photos. And the reason for that is that video is passive. So if someone's sitting there and they're watching your video, they may watch it all the way to the end, but Facebook doesn't know that they watched it all the way to the end. They may have started it playing and they just turned around and done something over here to the side and they realize, oh, it's gone over, let me come back, all right, now let me go to the next thing. They may not have actually watched it all the way to the end, so there's a possibility that the person watching that video is distracted, and remember Facebook's goal, the algorithm's goal is to keep them interacting with Facebook, keep their attention on Facebook. Whereas with the collections of photos, those interactions of swiping through, Facebook knows these people are focused on my platform. These people are doing what we want them to do. And so it gives a higher priority to those collections of photos. Now, video is still good. I always recommend that businesses get video for their page. And where I recommend they put them is the pinned post of the top of the page. So when you have a post on your page, you can click those little three dots in the top right-hand corner, And you can tell it to have that as a featured post or a pinned post, and it will move that up at the top of the page. And it'll be a little bit smaller than the regular post, but it will always be at the top of the page. And right now, I think they allow you to have 3 that are visible. You can have more, but only 3 are visible at a time. And so that's where I tell businesses to put their little About Us videos, is in those pinned posts. So if anyone goes to their page, that's the first thing that they see, and they can watch that video to learn more about you. Good question. Any other questions?
Are there any security settings that we should be mindful of when we're doing all of this stuff?
There are some things that you just have to use common sense. Once your page starts getting some recognition and notoriety in the groups, it's going to be targeted by people that are running scams. And so you're going to have people sending you messages, and it's going to look like it's from Facebook when it's not really. And it'll say, your account has violated community standards. You need to punch in this code right now and go to this link in order to assure us that you are who you say you are. And Facebook's never going to send you a link that you need to go to in order to tell them that you are who you say you are. That's someone trying to get your login information so they can take over your business and use it to scam people. I have had clients that have had people impersonate their business on Facebook and contact individuals that have commented on their posts and groups, and they message them with a false business that's not really that business, and say, hey, you won our prize, you need to give us your credit card number. And we had one time where a customer actually gave them the credit card number and ended up losing money from their account. They got it all back because it's fraud, they just called their bank. Those are just common sense things you're gonna run into that anytime you do any type of digital marketing with businesses. Like email, you're gonna have the same thing. People are gonna, if your business gets popular and gets big, people are gonna have email addresses that look like they're from your business, and they're gonna be contacting people that probably do business with you in order to try and scam them out of some money. I get emails all the time from my DNS provider. And it's always, your email is about to be shut down if you don't contact us right now. Click this link. And you just have to look at the phone field. You can say, that's not from my email provider. But that's just the nature of the beast of internet marketing of any kind. I do recommend that you get a cyber liability package for your insurance. So your insurance folks in your group, your BNI group, you should know about that, and get cyber liability for your business. Because if you take any type of credit card content through an app or an online through a web page, you really need that cyber liability protection in case someone tries to hack that information.
Sorry, I'm dominating.
That's fine.
All the time. One more question. One of my suppliers, Royal Caribbean, offers a free service to travel agencies with a company called Rallyo. And you can sign up with Rallyo and link your Facebook to them. And they'll just post like 40 posts per day of various contents, whether it's like Royal Caribbean or their subsidiaries. So is that helpful at all, or is that just a waste of time and resources and I just need to stick with four?
And if they're charging you for it,
No, it's free.
Okay, if it's free, then it can't hurt.
Okay.
So just like my art gallery client, they post all the time. They'll post 2 or 3 times a day just on their own.
Oh, yeah, like it'll post multiple times per day at different times, it'll post reels.
Yeah, it's not gonna hurt anything.
Okay.
The reach of that is it's only gonna reach that 6.5% of your followers, but it's not gonna hurt anything.
Okay.
So if it's free, I don't see any harm in it. Now, if you were paying a couple $100 a month, I would definitely say no.
No, it's free.
So if someone wanted to use your services, that for your cost per monthly fee, is that just for the 1-10-10 or is that managing social media altogether? What does that look like? And is your services catered to like the price? Is it for one business, like Sony instance, where we have 2 different businesses we're trying to run? Would that entail both businesses or be a separate cost for each one? Like how would that work?
I do a separate, in reverse order here. I I do a separate cost for each one, but I get discounts if you have multiple businesses. When the roofing dudes came on board, they came on board with 3 different businesses that Phil is over, and so I gave him a discount because he brought, so many customers right away. So I do work with folks that way. With the content strategy, or the 1-10-10 strategy is what I do the monthly service for, the monthly fee for. It's for me, if you send me the photos and then I post them, or I have some clients that don't have photos, so I just create the list for them and I do graphic design for free for them and put those in that. If I have to go on a location and take photos, I have to charge more. But it's just putting that post up and then sharing it in all the groups. And that really takes a good bit of time. I meant to say this earlier. The other marketing companies, they won't do what I do. I've gone to them and told them, hey, this is what I'm doing. What do y'all think of it? They won't do it because it takes too much time, because it can't be automated. Facebook will not allow you to automate sharing it to the groups. And then even automating the collection of photos, I put up the photos in a specific order because I want the photos that are going to pop and really grab attention to be those first 4 photos. Well, if you try to automate a collection of photos, Facebook will just randomly choose their own order. And you can go through it afterwards and change it, but it's a headache. It's a lot easier to just manually. It's easier to manually do it and not even bother with their automation than to go through and do it afterwards. So it takes about, for me, even after all my experience, it still takes about 2 hours per client to do the post every single week. And so that's what you're paying me to do is that time, that 2 hours every single week to put that up and share it all groups. And paying for my experience and knowing which groups to post in and what kind of content to put up. I think that answered all of it.
No, I did.
Okay.
You have a question?
Listen, my brain's like, I'm just grateful for the information.
And if you want, I am going to eventually put this video up, but I do have other workshops I've done that are on my YouTube channel. And so you can just search for Fortenberry Marketing on YouTube, and that will pull up the YouTube page. And so you can, if you want a refresher on what we've gone over, you can get that from that YouTube channel. All right. Well, thank y'all very much for coming.
Thank you so
We
much.
appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
So would it hurt if you were in, say, 100 groups?
Oh, yeah, not at all. Yeah, I've got one client that's in 85 groups. And
You obviously charge more if they're in 85. Well, you only make 10 group posts a week.
no,
Can
I
you
will
increase?
do up to however many. And so I have not had one that's so much that I've had to charge more now. If it got over 100, I might have to say, hey, we need to bump this cost up a little bit.
So the price is the same if I'm in 10 or 80?
Yep.
Okay. No, I'm just asking.
It takes a lot of research. In fact, I have one of the products on my website is a list of 130, I think 120, 130 groups all across the state of Alabama that are business friendly. It's all hyperlinked, so you just have to log into your business page, open up my spreadsheet, you can just click on the name of the group, click join, click on the name, and click join. That's $100 if you want to go and grab that. But yeah, it takes a lot of work to go and find them. I'm constantly looking for them to get more of them.
So you can pay $100 and it'll automatically join you to the groups?
It doesn't automatically join you. You get the spreadsheet, and then you have to click on the name. It's a hyperlink in the spreadsheet. You just click on the name of the group, and then you click join and go to Facebook. All right. Well, if that's all the questions, thank you for coming. Feel free to talk and network. We have the room for another 3 minutes.